Today we're going to be looking at the Rob Hoffman trading strategy, so let's get straight to it. Hey trader devs, I hope you're all going extremely well. My name's David and welcome to my channel where I go through trading strategies that I find on YouTube and on the web, and then I backtest them using code to debunk the bad ones and find the good ones. Today we're going to be looking at a trading strategy by Rob Hoffman that I found on Trader Pro's YouTube channel. Now I'm glad to be going back to Trader Pro's YouTube channel, as it's thanks to him that I actually started my own YouTube channel, so I thank him very much for all of his content and everything that I learned from him when I was a newbie trader. So today we're going to be looking at a trading strategy by Rob Hoffman, which includes inventory retracement bars and a couple of EMAs. Also includes a 45-degree thrust to detect the actual trend movement. I guess the best idea is to get straight over to my computer so that we can backtest and code this so that you can add it to our trading view chart. You can also add this to your trading view chart just by following the Patreon links down below in the description. You can also join me every Monday and Friday here on YouTube. If you do like the video, please don't forget to give it a good old like and don't forget to subscribe. Okay, let's get over to the computer and have a look at this. Right, here we are on my computer, giving credit where credit is due as always. As I said earlier, this trading strategy I found on Trader Pro's actual YouTube channel, a great YouTube channel where he goes through manually all of these trading strategies. Does one a week, I believe, and was one of the channels that inspired me to do what I'm doing today. So I thank him very much. Right, let's get over to the chart and have a look at this trading strategy. Right, okay, here we are on the chart, and we're going to be adding a couple of indicators today, and then I'm going to explain them how they work. And once I've done that, I will code it so that you can just connect it all to bots and all of that good stuff and be able to backtest it using the trading view backtester just here, which will give us results for a larger period. Okay, first thing we're going to do is go over here to indicators and click that, and we're going to be adding our Rob Hoffman in here. So it's Rob Hoffman's indicators, and the one that we're going to be using is this one here, the inventory retracement bar, and we're going to be adding that, and that's by UCS Gear. I'm going to click that one, and we're going to be using that one today. We're also going to be adding two EMAs, so I'm going to add two EMAs here. We have 1 and 2. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is set up our EMAs. They're going to define our trend direction. So we're going to first of all add here our EMAs. Now we're going to be using a 20 EMA, and we're going to be coloring that one in yellow. Let's make that a little bit thicker as well so that we can see it. Okay, that's fantastic. And then we're going to be using another 20 EMA. Now we're on the 15-minute time frame on BTC USDT. And then we're going to be using another 20 EMA, which I'm going to be coloring in green. And we're going to be actually changing the time frame to the 1 hour. So this is how, that's 20, not 220. This is how Trade Pro actually defines his trend in this strategy. So the idea here is obviously, as in many of our strategies, when the faster moving yellow period is actually above the green, we're looking for longs. And when the green is above the yellow, we're actually looking for shorts. So that's fantastic. We now know where we're going to be, how we're going to be following the trend, and now we're looking for our entries. For this, we're going to be using the Rob Hoffman's inventory retracement bars, and we're going to just zoom into a couple of these bars so that we can see where we're going to be taking our entries. So when we're on the Rob Hoffman retracement bars indicator here, what we're actually doing is we're actually looking for, as I said, our trend direction using the green and yellow bars here. But it's a bit counterintuitive because we're actually going to be taking positions on these green arrows here. Because what's happening here is this is considered as a retracement bar. The reason being is this wick here is actually end. So we're actually looking for trapped traders who are actually going to be long in this bar, and we're going to be entering here hoping that it'll go in for a further dip. So we are looking for green bars on a short and the opposite direction here. If we go all the way back over here, we're looking for red triangles here to get a long. So as you can see, we would have actually had some good entries here just by longing that red triangles. What could be considered as a bearish candle where the wick is actually 45% at least of the candle. Okay, so Here is our first long. As always, I am cherry picking just to find a good entry for the moment, but then I will code it so it's actually done by code. So there's no more cherry picking, but okay, so the idea here is we're looking for, as I said, the yellow to be above the green for a long, and then we're actually going to be looking for a red triangle just here. This red triangle is actually displayed, and we're actually going to be getting in to follow that trend and using this as our entry. So let's put this as our first entry. Now the actual entry is just slightly above the height of that candle, so we're going to be putting it here as a order, and we're going to be adding our stop loss just at the low of that candle. The risk to reward will be 1.51. That's close enough. Okay, so it's going to be 1.5 in the code, so that would have obviously been a win. Just a side note, as I said, you are actually looking to be just above that candle, a couple of pips above that candle, that high of that candle for the entry. So you'd have to use an actual conditional order or mark it in yourself. With bots, you'll be able to put an alert, and that will be able to actually take that order for you. So let's have a look for a short. Okay, another cherry picked candle just here for you guys. So, right, first things first, we're looking for the green now to be above the yellow. That's perfect. And we're going to be looking for a green candle, a green triangle, which, like I said, is a bit contradictory, but we're looking for a green candle, which is a 45% of wick on that candle, which is absolutely perfect. So we're going to be adding a short just here. As always, we're going to be adding the short just below the wick of that candle here, and we'll be able to get in on this candle here. Our stop loss will be placed, our entry is just there, our stop loss will be placed just on the low of the candle there, so just this low here. So the stop loss will actually be set to the high of the candle where the green triangle is, and then we're looking for a 1 to 1.5, sorry, risk to reward. So that was a win as well. As you can see, it would have get very close to the stop loss, but here we go. That's our entries for that there. Okay, there is one last rule that we have to talk about, which is the 45-degree angle, which makes this trading strategy different to all other trading strategies, and also made it an award-winning trading strategy. It can be considered as a filter, I guess, but the idea is we're actually not going to be taking any trades if this yellow line isn't at a 45-degree angle, or then a minus 45-degree angle if we're looking for short, and above a 45-degree angle if we are looking for long. There is a tool on TradingView which helps us to draw angles, but it does actually get quite hard to work them out. But as you can see, that one is a 40. If you're looking for 45, it comes up about here. But it depends where you take the center line from. Okay, I guess the best thing now is to start coding this so that we can backtest to see whether it is a good strategy to add to bots. I guess the best thing is to cue that music and let's go. Go!
Come on, David, and once again he's gone to code a new strategy. He'll be back in just 5 minutes. RSI and MACD. If he doesn't run into any bugs, there will be a new strategy. Come on, David, hurry up. Come on, David, show us what you got. Come on, David, our patience running out. Come on, David, show us what you got.
Okay, yeah, okay, so it's been a couple of days of coding this one. I've been doing it in the background and coming backwards and forward, and unfortunately there's a big problem with this strategy, especially when you're trying to code it. Let's go back over to my computer. I'm going to show you the problem, and I'll show you what I found as a solution. So let's go over to the computer. Okay, here we are back at the screen. Right, my problem come with this here. Now, this is the chart that I drew a couple of hours ago. Right, okay, what I didn't realize was when we were building this 45-degree angle, that when you squeeze, I don't know if you saw the video before with those blocks once, when you squeeze this pattern up and down, that 45-degree becomes either valid or invalid as you squeeze your chart about. So pretty much impossible to trade, pretty much impossible to chart, trade, or even code. So I've come across a couple of solutions. I've used an ATR band that follows along. still ending up with the same sort of problems. There's plenty of examples out there of how to do it, but none of them have actually given me any good results. And then all of a sudden I was in my Discord channel talking to everybody about these strategies, because it has been something that's been requested a lot. One of the Discord members sent me a block of code which helped me out quite a lot. So let's have a look at the block of code and see what it does. Okay, first of all, a huge thank you to Alfric for sending me this code. It's helped me out quite a lot, and whilst reading up about the actual 45 degrees, there's a couple of videos out there and things like that, but none of them really helped me. So this is the code that I got. So the idea is for us to be able to draw these 45-degree angles, we're actually going to have to use a function of trading view by clicking this clock up here like that. Okay. So the clock there, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to go down to the scale button here, and we're going to go over to the side here, and we're going to lock price to bar ratio. We're going to put it at 100, and that's going to give us a blocked scale price here. So as you can see, as we move in and out, our chart is actually zooming, but no longer squidging, which is great. Okay, so this means that this entry here would have actually been completely invalid, but has given us a chart which we can actually work with, and it's actually filtered out a humongous amount of trades. So here's what I've come up with thanks to that code that he sent me. Happily put the snippet into my Discord if anybody's interested, as long as he gives me permission. Right, okay, so let me remove these here very quickly. Okay, here's the indicator. As I said earlier, we are still on Bitcoin, the USDT on 15-minute time frame. Right, so what I've done is I've created a channel kind of with these entries here, so that we have a channel between the higher highs and the lower lows. And all we need to do is keep an eye on these yellow bands and this green band. So as I said earlier, the green band and yellow band have to be above or below each other for us to take entries. We're following a trend, and we're going to be using these green and red triangles to find our entries. Let's find an entry very quickly. Now this is our first entry here, which was one of the entries that I took earlier. And we're looking at a 45-degree angle here, so I should imagine that the 45-degree angle is taken from here. Taking it from here, and we're going to be taking it up, so as you can see, we're at a 51-degree angle for that entry. That's absolutely brilliant. We have also the entry which has been taken from this red bar here. I did actually have to use a look back feature for creating this green line. So the idea is that we continue to look back for a couple of lines, as if we're putting a conditional order in. As soon as the chart starts dipping and then coming back above that green line, that's where we get our entry just there. Now, with bots, obviously, we're going to be in the next candle because it has to wait for that close. And then we're going to take our entry, and we have a stop loss which is set to the low of that candle, which makes the... Okay, so obviously on this entry, we are actually a bar later than what I would have expected, but that's most probably because of the degrees of 45 degrees actually start around here. So the bar entry is here. We take our entry just there. It means that our stop loss is actually quite big. Let's have a look at that very quickly. Oh, our stop loss is 4%, 4.18%, 4.18%, and that means that we have a 8% stop loss here. Now, I'm not sure whether this one actually made it to the 8%. Yes, it did indeed. It made it to the 8%, which is absolutely brilliant. A huge entry. Huge profit on that entry. So, right, let's have a look at our shorts, if there's any shorts here. Okay, here's our first short. Goes in the same sort of way. We are waiting for this to be at a 45-degree angle after we have a green candle here. And this one would have had a stop loss of around 5% to be at the top of that candle up there. So that means we would have had a 10% win on this entry. Okay, let's have a look at some of the back testing results. This is on the 15-minute, so unfortunately there isn't that many closed trades. That's one of the problems that I come across with TradingView, is that they do sometimes have a very small pool of trades. I would suggest testing this on a forward testing platform before ever trying to use it. We have a 66% win rate, which is absolutely brilliant for such a huge take profit on each of these. A 4.7 profit factor, which is absolutely amazing, and a very, very small markdown of only 6%. We have 97% net profit. Now, if I put that against the the buy and hold or return, that would have given us an 8% loss. So it does look like it could be good food for thought and looking more into. Let's have a look at some of the other details that we have here on the David Tech dashboard. Okay, here we are on David Tech dashboard. We have wins at 14, 7 losses, a 67% win rate. We also have a number of trades, which is 21, which is that. We have 7 wins in a row and 2 losses in a row. As I said earlier, it is not a big enough pool for me to actually go and trade this, but it is well worth testing on the forward testing platform to find out what it would do on a longer period. Trade Pro actually said that we should be using a 1.5. I found that a 2 risk to reward was actually better, but if you add a multiple take profit here, you could actually get that win rate up by significantly and also take it up to 3 risk to reward, which would give us a 70% net profit and 82% win rate. So you'll be actually protecting your capital, losing less trades, but you would have a smaller net profit. So it all depends how you like to trade, whether you prefer to trade on a higher win rate or a net profit. We can also test for leverage. Currently, this is on a 10x leverage. Looking at the size of the stop losses, you probably won't be able to get any better than that. So then put the liquidation line on there. Let's go and have a look to see whether that would even fit below. Okay, we still are below the stop loss, so maybe we could test it out on a higher leverage, maybe something like 20x leverage. As you can see, that leverage line is getting rather close to the actual stop loss, so I'd always be very, very careful. You certainly don't want to end up liquidated. So playing around with the leverage line here, obviously you can play around to get better win rate and net profit. I've been playing around with it. It seems like 15x leverage would be the absolute high that you'd be able to do before it actually hits that liquidation line and takes all of the money in the trade. I've put this on a 10% of my portfolio, and as you can see, if we go into the list of trades here, this has been trading since since August last year. So we're in February at the moment. So yeah. So it certainly does look like a good trading strategy. I'm not sure that it'll be very well adapted to leverage if you're a leverage trader. It is certainly food for thought. I tried adding things like the ADX and the TDFI, but unfortunately it didn't give me better results than what I was getting with just the basics of the trading strategy. I have moved around the EMAs and things like that to try and get better results. My Excel spreadsheet with all of my settings will be posted inside our Discord so that you can download them and test it out. Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. This trading strategy will be something that I'll be testing on the forward testing platform, but won't be actually trading myself until I find better confidence and a better pool of data to see whether it actually is working. You can add all of my trading strategies to your trading view just by clicking the Patreon links down below. And without further ado, stay safe, keep coding, and I'll have a good one. Cheers, goodbye.